Hi, I'm Don Helgeson, and welcome to another edition of PC Warrior Almost Live. Today we're changing it up a little bit, and you're going to be hearing from the 4 admins of the PC tribe. We hope you enjoy what we have to say. We're going to update our personal health history and give you an idea of where we're going with the tribe. Enjoy, everyone. Hi, everyone. Don Helgeson here, coming to you live from Nanaimo, British Columbia, Canada. It's the latest edition of PC Warrior Almost Live. This edition is with the admins. Today, we have the 4 of us joining you live from Bryan Wenger from Topeka, Kansas. We have Tracy Morgan from Grand Ridge, Illinois. And we also have Greg Brown coming from Nanaimo, British Columbia, Canada as well. We thought with the 1-year anniversary on November 23rd coming up for the PC tribe, that we try something a little bit different. And so the 4 of us have all been interviewed on PC Warrior Almost Live over the last year. And we thought maybe we'd take this opportunity to reintroduce ourselves, tell you a little bit about ourselves, and to give you a little bit of an update on our own personal health histories. So here we are today. We're recording this on a Sunday, and we'll be posting it live on the 23rd, or not live, but we'll be posting it on the 23rd for everyone to see. So without further ado, maybe I'll start. As I said, I'm Don Helgeson. I'm one of the admins that Tracy graciously allowed to assist with the group back in November of 2023. And as far as my personal health history, I was diagnosed in late 2020 with Gleason 7 prostate cancer. Ended up in January 2021, ended up having a radical prostatectomy. And post-surgery, I was discovered that I was actually a Gleason 9. All my margins were clear afterwards. And at almost 2 years later, I continue to have quarterly PSAs that are at 0.008, which I'm told is virtually undetectable. And so as far as that goes, the prostate cancer part of my story, everything is considered to be clear. Still dealing with the regular stuff that I think everybody does, some ED issues, once in a while still leak a little bit, but 2 years out, things are really getting better. As my surgeon told me at about the 2-year mark, things would be as good as they possibly will ever get, and I think he's right. Second part of my most recent journey is I'm also a colon cancer survivor, and I have an annual colonoscopy this upcoming Thursday, which was supposed to happen in October, and I got bumped for another patient that needed to be in my spot a little bit more urgently than I was. And so this Thursday I go, and with that comes the regular scanxiety that most of us get when we're ready for the next appointment. So I've been a little bit on edge, and lots of other things going on in my life, but this is one that's really in the back of my brain because I live with Lynch syndrome, and it's I have a higher predisposition for developing cancers within my lifetime, and I've had 3 already, including skin cancer when I was in my 20s. And my mother, she was my age when she had colon cancer for the second time, and it developed in between colonoscopies at 12-month intervals. So I always have this on my mind. And so I'm super appreciative to have these 3 guys here that I talk to almost on a daily basis. We have a group chat going. And it's because of this, and I'm also a member of Man Up to Cancer, and have lots of great friends within these 2 groups that makes it a lot easier. And if I want to just vent and say I'm having a shitty day or whatever, or I'm having a great day, I have these people to talk to, so I appreciate it. So that's me. Very happy to be still working with the group as an admin, and really happy to be doing these interviews. So today is kind of cool to have the 4 of us together, and I'm glad that the guys agreed to do this. So maybe we'll pass it over to Bryan. And Bryan, can you give us a bit of an update on how things are going with you?
Well, I can second the yearly colonoscopy anxiety. I had mine in, was it August maybe, and it came back good. I did have a sarcoma, I think it is, or whatever the precancerous polyps. I had one that they'd cut out, and luckily enough they got it beforehand. So it just kind of goes with the Lynch thing, how fast it can actually grow. As far as prostate cancer goes, I don't know that I'm in the clear kind of deal yet, but I I have my last hormone shot was in August, so I'm coming off of that, and the doc said starting in like earlier the first year or first of the next year that we'll start noticing things if things are gonna go awry. So here in a few weeks, kind of mid-December, I actually have a CT scan and some other scans, I think it is, and a whole bunch of blood work and everything to make sure that everything's jiving. Which so I'm pretty anxious about that because it's at the point now where it either worked or it didn't. And if it didn't, they'll put me right back on hormone therapy and it'll be for good. I was Gleason 7 also, and my margins were not clear. I was like the opposite of you, basically. The catheter's still there, will be there forever until it has to be moved to something different. And just enjoying life, hanging out with old Daisy.
And speaking of Daisy, I think Daisy's right beside you there, and Daisy's kind of become the unofficial mascot of the PC tribe.
She's taking a nap.
Hey, Miss Daisy.
It's pretty cold here, so she's wearing her little sweater, or it has been cold. Today it's 50, so today's not bad, but the other day it was like 20. So, yesterday it was 30. So we're getting into that cold time of year. So
You have quite the
that's about
extreme
it for me
temperatures.
medically.
Your temperatures are very extreme, one end to the other.
Oh yeah, we go from 110 to -10. We get it all, but other than that, medically, I somehow have made it over a year without ending up in the hospital, which is kind of a miracle for me the last 5 years or so. So yeah, feeling good.
Fantastic. And I think you also, anybody who's watching this will see that the four of us are actually pretty young guys to be talking about cancer journeys. And Bryan, you were in your 20s when you had your first cancer, and then dealing with, you were in your 30s when you had the prostate cancer, right?
Yeah, 26 and 37.
And you just turned 40 this past year.
I made it to 40. If you at the age of 30, if you would ask me if I was going to hit 40, I would have told you probably not. And I'll say the same about 50. Hey, who knows? I guess nobody ever really knows, but I have kind of a little chip in the back that is trying to keep me from doing it, but I'm kind of a little bit too hard-headed to let it win. So
that's good.
I told somebody in an interview one time, they asked me if I had any advice for people with cancer, and I said the best thing to do is just make it your bitch.
Love it.
Yeah.
And Bryan, you're a fellow Lynchy.
Yeah, I get the lynch. But yeah, just don't let it get the best of you. And I'll tell new people on here, guys that first come in that have been diagnosed for the first time, that 3/4 of the battle is right here. If you can keep it from just taking you down in the head, the physical side of it sucks, but to me at least, the head part's the worst. So
good. Greg Brown, fellow Nanaimoite. Greg, you just actually your 1 year anniversary just came and went for your procedure.
Well, yes and no. So I was originally diagnosed in the summer of 2021, Gleason 7 stage 2 prostate cancer. So I had options, either surgery or brachytherapy, low dose and internal radiation. I opted for the brachytherapy. So yeah, it was a year ago that I had my ultrasound for the brachy placement, seed placements, and I had the actual surgery. Merry Christmas, December 23rd. So it's been almost a year. I've been extremely happy with the results. The side effects were minimal, and it brought my PSA peaked around 10. And within a month, it had already dropped down to 2.5. And since then, it's been 0.13. My oncologist, who I had my most recent follow-up about a month ago said, see you in a year. I still do my PSA test. So, but that's it. So I consider myself fortunate that it was caught early. But I will say, would it be nice to have known about the PC tribe and the Man Up to Cancer as it's going through it, because notwithstanding their support groups around, they tend to be medical, so they're regurgitating what your doctor's already telling you. So having available resources for people who are further down the line than you I don't think it wouldn't have changed my outcome, I don't think. But I certainly would have been more aware and more informed. So I think that's sort of one of the benefits of the page. And I guess advice to anyone who's new or out here, yeah, we have some tremendous members who have wonderful experiences and wonderful backgrounds, but bear in mind, everyone's situation is unique and different. Whether it's your relationship, whether it's your psychological state, whether it's your physical state, but information's power, right? So, and I think what I get out of, forget about being an admin, but just part of the PC tribe is just the fellowship of being with it. It's a good group of guys, period. From all over the world, all different stages and walks of life. So I've made some wonderful friendships. Some haven't met, except for Don, who lives in the same place as me. Haven't met face to face with Tracy and Bryan yet. Bryan won't let me on his property, but that's a whole different story. But I mean, there's guys I talk shit with on Sundays for football. Guys I talk shit with, for hockey, or whatever your whatever your passion is. And we have a lot of really talented guys, on the group. So you're not alone. I think that's the main thing. Don't be intimidated. Don't hesitate to reach out to people. And the Zoom meetings are invaluable. You don't have to make every one. We can't make every one, but it pop in from time to time. Sometimes they're pretty heavy conversations, and other times they're pretty light. I can assure you, there's probably an element of light and talking shit in all meetings, but there's also some serious talk that goes on. But so, like I said, if there's any takeaway, I'd say, like I said, reach out to people. You're in a place of safety. We screen our candidates pretty seriously. We monitor the page very regularly, and if we see anything that's sort of out of character, out of line, or out of place with our values and our philosophies, we won't hesitate to put a stop to it. So a year coming up, and it's, notwithstanding it started out on shaky grounds, it's so far so good, and so we're here for you.
Awesome. Great update, Greg. Our fearless leader, Tracy Morgan. Are you having any regrets at all about the 3 people you picked to be your admins, or what?
I don't know. It's quite a diverse group, let's put it that way.
Well, when you think about it, we got 2 people in Canada, we got somebody in Kansas, somebody in Illinois. It's and like Greg said, we've, Greg and I have never met the 2 of you face to face. I mean, that could change next year if we get to that gathering with Man Up to Cancer. But I can say, and I think Greg can attest to this as well, when we met some people at the last gathering of Wolves that we'd only seen online before, it was great to actually be able to embrace them, but it didn't feel like you had just met them for the first time. It was pretty cool. We're lucky to have this. So anyway, go ahead, Tracy.
Well, as most of you probably know, I was diagnosed May of 2019, right off the get-go, stage 4, metastatic out to my spine, ribs, neck, hips, right femur. So not the direction I really wanted to start out. I guess it's, if you give me A for effort for giving it everything. So I've done hormone therapy ever since May. I've had radiation on the lower spine immediately because that was where that's how I got diagnosed. I had this lower back pain that was severe, and finally got an MRI and it showed a tumor already up to the point of touching the sac around the spinal cord. So I immediately had 10 days radiation on that. I had 20 days radiation on my prostate. My radiation oncologist said, "This is your biggest tumor. Let's see if we can knock it down some." That was October of 2019. And I went from a 294 to June of 2020, I was at 0.01 and thought, man, I just, kicked this thing's ass. I got, this is whooped. Well, then the next one, it started going, 0.02, 0.03, 0.04, 0.06, and started moving its way up. By the end of the year, I met the requirements for Provenge immunotherapy, did that November, December of 2020. And first part of 2021 in February, they said, we need to get you, I was on Firmagon and Zytiga. And they switched me from Zytiga to Xtandi, which dropped my PSA back down. They've always kept me from getting high. I think my highest was like 3.25 or something, but they don't like that trend when you start tripling and doubling in a month. Knocked it back down. Hot flashes and some other side effects came back pretty bad with that change. And then in April, I went to Lupron because my PSA wasn't staying low. So I thought, okay, we got this, we got things back under control. We got our, things are moved. Well, I ended up in July of 2020. I was having some middle back spine pain. Found out that my T5 had a tumor on it that needed to have something done. So we did 10 days on that of radiation. PSA went back down again. And then it started rising again. And finally, this year, April, I started radium-223 treatment, 6 months, 4 weeks apart, of getting injected with, IV injection of radium-223 Zofia by AbbVie. First 3, maybe a little bit to the 4th, wasn't too bad, didn't feel too much difference on it. 5th and 6th kicked my ass bad, especially the last one. Oh my God, I didn't have any energy. I didn't want to eat. A little nauseous a lot of the time. Nothing sounded good to eat. And how in the hell you cannot eat and not lose weight, I don't understand, but I did that too. So, but I'm glad to say, so September was my last treatment. And so we're basically 2 months past that. My appetite's come back and eating like a pig again. Need to get working out again because I lost a lot of muscle mass this summer because of it. And I'm starting to get some energy back. So I'm really finally starting to feel normal, I guess, if there's a normal in this somewhere. So I'm glad with that. Now we're just still sitting on hormone therapy and wait and see, does it continue down? Does it stay stable? Does it go up again? My oncologist says he's had guys, he'll go out maybe 6 months that continues to drop after radium treatments. And so we'll see. So my life is, and if you've been on the website, or I think I posted them all in the group, so I've got a blog started that's called Life One Extension at a Time. So if for you guys that are kind of in my boat, you understand that. So every treatment is a life extension. And does it give you 3 months? Does it give you a year? Does it give you 6 months? Does it give you a year and a half? You don't know. Doc can't tell you. Nobody can tell you. It may not even give you nothing. So you go from life extension to life extension. So I still have a few. My oncologist still has them in his pocket. And, knock on wood, there's stuff coming out almost every year. New stuff, new trials. So we just keep moving along. But man, I'd like to go through a summer next summer without being on another one. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
but I'll keep moving, keep going forward. These three guys, harassed me enough that they didn't let me sit too much. So, but that's where I'm sitting. So, there's still hope out there, guys. I'm 3.5 years into this and pushing to get past that 5-year mark and go from there. That's
Fantastic.
it, Don.
We were talking just before we went live here about the PC Tribe, which went live on November 23rd of 2021, how we just had our 507th member join. And maybe I'll just take it back a little bit. Tracy and I have both been members of Man Up to Cancer. I think Bryan, I'm not sure if you were already a member of Man Up to Cancer at that time. You might have been, but Tracy had the vision of because that's multiple cancers, but why not do something that's just prostate cancer related and a little bit more where the guys can just talk about what we're going through, but keep the same ideas and values that Man Up to Cancer has. Can you honestly say that you would have thought it'd be where it's at right now in 1 year?
No. I knew it needed to be done. I didn't know that I was going to be the one to do it first off. But after being a Man Up, you see the experience. You get the experience yourself for what it's like to have all these guys, men supporting men. And I was like, man, this just needs to happen. And finally, I was like, all right, screw it. I'm doing it. I'm going to make one. And it's a little different. I started with the Mohawk Mission. It's been over 2 years ago. And its primary thing has always been prostate cancer awareness, because my purpose became, back about, I guess it was December of 2019. I just kind of had this feeling that my purpose is to help save guys' lives, because I don't want guys to be diagnosed like I was. Get diagnosed early, get in there, do whatever treatment it is that you choose to do, and hopefully they live a good life from there on out. I'm incurable. That's what I'm called right now. I'm curable, treatable, but incurable. So that's always been the goal of the mission. I never really thought much about doing support. So I always thought, there's prostate cancer groups galore out there. Why do we need a prostate cancer group? But after being with Trevor and Joe on Man Up and seeing just how much it meant to everybody, it's like, no, we need this. We need support. And so basically I launched it, like Don said, the 23rd. It was the week of Thanksgiving. I think I may have had that whole week off last year. I was looking for something to do anyway, and launched it and thought, all right, this is going to be, I want it to be another good support group like Man Up. I wanted it to be, the same thing, but just prostate cancer. And so I did a little bit of a blog today. It's going to come out Wednesday also about the tribe. And it's funny, as I was writing through there, it's kind of like, yeah, we're starting a support group, but this support group has also now become a PC awareness, hasn't it? We send out postcards, the armbands, magnets, God knows what else we'll have in the next year or two that we'll be sending out. The guys take to their doctor's visits or wherever they go to help, PC awareness. And then we've got the bonfire store, which, you've got the hat on.
Yep.
That guys wear their hoodies and their shirts and all that stuff. So it all adds to PC awareness. So it's like, I kind of got, it kind of really came back to the original thing of the mission. So, but the tribe, 500 members, 10 countries we're in. No, I never thought this. I never thought I'd be talking to Robert Brand in South Africa.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, we're halfway around the world. And it's been amazing, man. I just, just kind of on the ride, and the group is taking care of itself now. We just kind of nurture it and and monitor it, but the group is the one that does it all,
That's right. You have to
They're
have
out there
somebody
helping
steering
each
the
other.
ship.
Well, yeah, sometimes, as long as you keep me off the wild turkey, we'll be okay.
I was
No, that's
going to say, yes, I had just become a member of Man Up. A good buddy of mine an old good buddy of mine has had breast cancer, and I was having a particularly rough time, and so he said, "Hey, join this group." So I joined Man Up, and I think my very first post that I put on there, Tracy popped in and put a comment on my thing that said, "Hey, come over to the tribe." And then I believe it was the very first Zoom meeting that I have ever participated in any cancer support group, which I've been in a bunch, short of the local hospital one. The very first one, Tracy had said something about, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I shot him a message, said, "Hey man, I've admin some other really big groups, just happen to be gun groups, but," and I said, I admin some really big groups. If you need help, holler at me. And he goes, "Okay, you're hired," just like that. So I managed to walk my way into helping admin this joint. It would have been the first week or two that I was even in the group, and he probably regrets it every minute now. A little abrasive at times, and kind of I'm the meanie of
You
the
keep
admin
it
group.
exciting.
But it's been, out of all of the Facebook groups, prostate cancer groups that I've been on, this is the only one that I've ever actually stayed on for an extended period of time. And that has nothing to do with being an admin. It has to do with how the group is, and just how you're like, we don't run the group per se. We rarely have to do anything other than sit around and talk about what we want to do. And maybe a question here or there, but we don't have to do anything. It's just a bunch of dudes doing what's right, and acting civilized and so on. So that's my spiel.
And just a side note there, and maybe Greg will want to touch in as well about his experience, but that first Zoom meeting that you went to, you actually messaged me after, I think we both talked about the Lynch syndrome. And that's a cool thing about Tracy's vision, is that during this meeting, we're chatting on the side saying, "Hey, we're both Lynch syndrome survivors." And that's been important for you and I. We've talked an awful lot about that. And where else would you get that? Right? You just wouldn't.
Yeah, because I got a few weird looks on that, because you had said something about Lynch, and I was sitting here in my home office on the Zoom, and you said you'd had Lynch and had cancer at a young age, and I was sitting there on mute, pumping fists and going, "Yeah," because I found somebody else that had Lynch. They're out there. You just most people that have Lynch don't know they have it, and so it's not very often that you run into somebody that has Lynch, much less in the prostate cancer groups, because it's only been tied to it for a few years.
Yeah.
And so I had a few of the members that were on the Zoom kind of looking like, "Oh," as I was over there, like celebrating that you have Lynch. And so I messaged
I guess it's one time you can celebrate it. Yeah. And then we had, and then I met Bryan, or pardon me, I'd met Greg through, I'd become a wolf pack leader with Man Up to Cancer, and they had shared my story with the local media, and Greg and I had met. And it wasn't long after that I'd suggested that this would be a great guy. I think 4 people as admins for a group this size is pretty decent. And we knew Greg was invested and recommended that he help us out as well. And he jumped at the opportunity. So that's your time to speak.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say something.
Yeah, they prey on the unsuspecting. What they don't know won't hurt them, right? No, it's all been good. And I know most members are sort of separated by territory or miles or states or countries or whatever. Don and I are lucky enough that we're in the same city, town. So we get together regularly for coffees or whatever, or beers. So yeah, it's just good to have people that you can talk to, and that, Facebook and whatever connects us, when we're miles apart, but having that face-to-face connection helps out as well. You're having a shitty day or whatever, right? So yeah, no, it's all good.
And the four of us,
I'm the quiet one.
You're the quiet one, yeah. But the four of us, as I was saying, we have a group chat going, just kind of keeping track of the day-to-day operations of the page, but we've also been there to support one another. We, in addition to us posting on the page what's going on in our lives, we might also just say, I'm going through something right now, or I've got a scan coming up. I'm a little extra nervous than I normally am. And it's just nice to have that relationship. And so the four of us, I think we really feed off of each other with that. And it's been a cool thing for me in my life. And I can also speak to the fact that Trevor Maxwell, he's incredibly supportive of this page. I mean, here we are creating something that is, his idea, his vision, and we basically, why reinvent the wheel, right? But he's like, no, I think it's great, and maybe this is setting the gold standard as to what other groups can do too. So I think that's kudos to Tracy for just taking that leap and doing this. So I know it's changed my life. Tracy, what do you see? What do you see going forward?
Oh man, I don't know. This group has done a lot. I see the guys helping each other. And every time I see a guy that says, this is what I've been looking for, other guys going through the same thing I'm going through or whatever. It's just like, it's so humbling to me that, I've been able to bring this, but the future, I don't know, man. The mission is the driving force behind most of this. So, if you don't really know much about the mission, so the mission was started a couple of years ago as a social media platform for prostate cancer awareness. Beginning of this year, we became our own nonprofit because we felt that we needed to be able to raise some money to help, this group. I've also just started an in-person support group in a town near me, which is, that's a whole other experience when you're dealing with rural folks, because I'm out in farm country, and it's slow. We'll get there. Patience. I've told myself I need patience. I need to let God bring the people to me. I can go put all the posts and the things I need to do, but He's the one who's going to bring them. So that's going. So through that, we're going to start another campaign that I'm hoping some of the guys here in the group can help me with. I have a goal for next year to reach out to every Harley Davidson dealer in the US and get our postcards out to all of them. And to have them, like, I know they do breast cancer stuff, to get something that they can do in September for prostate cancer. I don't care that it's, the mission or the tribe or anything is, even in the name of it. I just want to see them do some prostate cancer awareness during September. My God, how many people drive Harley Davidsons? I'd love to get in contact or work with their corporate, but we'll see how that goes. So you guys will be seeing that out coming out. That's one new thing coming up. I kind of think we're closing in on the amount of things in the bonfire store as we could possibly come up with. Unfortunately, guys, as you probably read my post today, I thought, oh, I can do a promotion. I can take, a % off of whatever we make on it and pass that on to you guys as a thank you. And I thought, well, hell, we're just going to take 50% off. Well, no, it don't work that way. So the best deal I got, everybody, that I could do, the hats and beanies, I couldn't get anything off of. I don't know why. And so to close, I got the highest I could go is 17%. It's not much, but it's a little thank you to you guys that, you're there supporting not only the mission, but each other. God, I don't know what else is going to come up.
You want to talk about you've decided a year in that we need a logo.
Oh, well, yeah, you guys have probably seen that. So we've kicked around all kinds of ideas, and somehow I come up with this grizzly idea, and I'm not so sure about that, and I think it's too complicated and not as simple as I want it to be. So I think I may have one today that I've shared with the admins that I need to do a little bit more with. I hope to make up my mind on it by Wednesday so I can share it with everybody. Something simplistic, something easy to get a tattoo, because I told everybody I was going to get it on me if we hit 500. Well, we did 500, so time for another tattoo. So yeah, that's coming out hopefully on Wednesday. This will be there on Wednesday. The blog about the PC tribe will be out Wednesday. The next blog about living life one extension at a time will come out Wednesday. I don't know, maybe I'll do a newsletter come out Wednesday. Wednesday's going to be we're going to be publishing a lot on Wednesday, so stay tuned. But yeah, there's a lot of things. I mean, I just don't know.
Yeah, for sure. That's more than
we've talked amongst us that maybe we're going to have a gathering of the tribe.
Well, and I wanted to bring that up. I mean, like, Wednesday is a big deal. As far as I'm concerned, it's a big deal that 1 year in and where we're at. And we've had, so there's quite a few guys that cross over from Man Up to Cancer. We met a few, Michael C., Steve Perry, and Bruce Watkins. They were all at the gathering in Buffalo. And, you know, David Pettit couldn't make it, but he's been bugging me. And he says, when are we all getting together? When are we all getting together? And so we're trying to think of a place that we could do that. I mean, I don't know how it would compare to what Man Up to Cancer did, but is there a place that we could do that? So the four of us are talking about that, everyone. So I think I'd love nothing more than to be in the same room with you guys. I really would.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I met 5 guys in September back at Mark Good's inaugural run walk in Des Moines. That was great. I've got another guy that lives here in Illinois that I've met a few times, and it's always fun to meet somebody else from the group. So, and you know, like, we need to start seeing some posts about that, guys. You know, meeting up with other ones. Give us pictures, man. We love pictures.
Yeah, the meetups. If you're doing meetups, guys, going for a beer, whether it's one guy or 5 guys, post them on the page.
For breakfast or whatever.
What's that?
For breakfast or whatever.
Anything, yeah.
Just where an old guy from California works.
You know, that's great. And then I know we're getting close to the end here, folks, but before we go, I also wanted to talk briefly with Brian. Brian's our Zoom meeting coordinator. You had a few ideas in place there about spicing up the Zoom meetings a little bit.
So one of the ideas that we've talked about it a few times and just kind of hem-hawed and went backwards with it. But one of the things that I am going to implement, and I will give everybody plenty of notice, it will be one of the 2 Zooms in December. I don't know which one. I haven't looked at the calendar, but we're going to have a spouse, caring person, wife, sister, whatever, you know, whoever is your support that you want to bring to the group, to the Zoom meeting for that one night. And the entire meeting is going to be dedicated to them, you know, I mean, us obviously, but, you know, like one of Tracy's shirts on Bonfire says, you know, his fight is my fight too, which is assumed to go for like a women's shirt for the wife or girlfriend, whatever. But that is very true. This doesn't matter what cancer you have. It's a tremendous outtake of time and caring and effort by those that are around you, because we be moody or whatever it may be. So we're going to dedicate an entire Zoom to those who love, and then I'm thinking about, maybe once a month or so having like a kind of an anything ABC day, except for like family day on the page where, we expect pictures of family, whatever it is you're doing, or whatever, I want to bring family into the group because it is important. The group is still going to be men only. We're not going to change that. We're not going to trample upon the trust that's been grown with the Zooms and all that kind of stuff that that we've gained over the last year. But family is very important. So
Absolutely.
I don't know when, but I'm going to make that happen. So.
And we've talked too about once in a while having a guest speaker come in and maybe be with us for the first 20 minutes, half hour of the session. Maybe that's a clinical counselor. Who knows? But I can speak. I think I speak on behalf of the other three of you, the three of you here, that those Zoom meetings, they're not about cancer necessarily. And we love getting together and just getting everybody's updates on where they're at in their lives. And we have a pretty good core group of guys that make most meetings. So I really do encourage anybody who's watching this, if you haven't been yet, give it a try. You don't have to participate. In fact, if you don't even want your video to be streamed, you don't have to do that either. You can just sit there, mute, and just listen to what's going on. But we'd love to see new people come and give it a try.
And just know anything that is said in that Zoom meeting is left in that Zoom meeting unless you specifically reach out to somebody and want to discuss it, or somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, I went through the same thing, let's talk about it. But we don't record them, we don't talk about it later, we don't that was the trust that I was talking about, that what you're saying there stays there. There is no shenanigans. I guess that's the beautiful part about it, is you should feel comfortable and free to be able to say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Tracy, like we're getting the message out for people like way more than you thought just with the page. But this is also about the men within the page making these unique connections and having these conversations, privately, and whether they decide to eventually talk to each other on the phone or whatever it is. And I think that's a win. That's a huge win. Greg, do you have anything else before we go?
No, I think it's all been said. It's it's good group. Use the resources that are available to you. That's what it's here for. And spread the word.
Spread the word, absolutely. Tracy, anything else?
Biggest thing is I love you guys, man.
Yes,
you're my family here.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, I tell that to my wife all the time. I have this new extended family that I look forward every day to getting up, because you guys are, except for Greg, as far as the time zone, you guys are in a different time zone than us. And I've learned to turn my ringer
Alerts off.
But I look forward to the morning just to see what's going on and that. And I'm looking forward to see where this is going to head. Well, unless there's anything else, you guys, thanks everyone for watching and listening to us. And I'm sure we'll do this again, maybe in another year. Updates for everybody. And until next time, you guys. Thanks for joining us. Well, that's a wrap, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. And if you'd like to be a guest on PC Warrior Almost Live, please contact me via social media or through the PC Tribe. Take care, everyone.